Welcome back to the How I Lost Weight podcast. Today we're sitting down with Josh, and Josh is an awesome person who has lost over 90 pounds and counting from documenting his weight loss journey on social media. He shares exactly how he started, what he's done to find the most success, and how you can go about changing your diet and exercise to reach your weight loss goals too. There's a ton of awesome information here. It's very approachable, and Josh is a very relatable and super kind guy with a ton of wisdom and experience to share. And he's also been posting for months every single day, documenting his progress and teaching you what he's learned. So after the episode, if you want to go give him a follow, his socials are linked down below. I definitely recommend it. He's definitely a great addition to your timeline. With the intro out of the way, let's get into the conversation and hear exactly how Josh lost the weight. Let's get into it. Hey, Josh, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm better now. I'm excited for this conversation. I've been a follower of your content for a few months now at this point, and I always love when you come across my timeline. So super excited to take it from Instagram and now chat and at least virtually face to face. So how's your day going?
It's going good. Just taking it easy. Was traveling this week for the holiday, but good to be home. Good to be home.
Amazing, man. And so with as someone on a weight loss focus, how did you approach Thanksgiving?
So leading up to Thanksgiving, that's one of my favorite holidays. It always has been. My approach was, have what I want, don't limit myself, but also like I don't have to go overboard.
Got it.
That's definitely something that I've done in years past, but this year it was like, yeah, like I'll have like the mashed potatoes, but I'll have like a serving, not like, 3 or 4.
Totally. Got it. Got it. Makes sense. And so what are your favorite Thanksgiving foods?
So my favorite Thanksgiving food overall is stuffing. I'm a big
Okay.
stuffing guy.
Nice.
All the carbs, really. The stuffing, the mashed potatoes, like if they have mac and cheese, the pies, all the carbs are definitely my favorite.
Are you more of a pumpkin pie or an apple pie guy?
Depends on my mood. I
Okay.
would say apple pie over pumpkin.
Nice, cool. I'm more of a pumpkin guy, but I do love a good
Okay.
apple pie or a good apple crumble. I'm a big fan of too.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
yeah, all that stuff's really good. So I'm glad it went well. I'm glad it wasn't a hard thing because it should be enjoyable, right? Like even while you're focusing on weight loss, it's still about enjoying life. It's how you make it sustainable. So it's awesome to hear that you're able to do that. How far into your weight loss progress are you? Like, how long have you been doing this?
So I've been really going at it for about 8 months now.
Okay, amazing. And what was your highest weight and what have you gotten down to at this point?
Yeah, so my highest weight was 396.
Okay.
And my most recent weigh-in, I was 306.8, so
Let's
almost 90
go.
pounds.
That's phenomenal, Josh. That's amazing, dude. That's sweet. That makes me so happy to hear. So, what are the things that you did to start that? Because even deciding to do this in general is really intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I've tried and failed countless times over the last decade, really. For me, the biggest thing, and I'll always preach this, is just tracking what you eat, tracking your macros and your calories. Even if you're not changing anything, just having a baseline of like what you're eating every day goes a long way. And that was the biggest change that really helped things click when I started my journey.
Yeah, people do not understand how many calories are in things. And it's not really their fault. Like, why would you think about it, right? It's not something that's super easy to understand. And it's such a varied thing where some things that you wouldn't think would be high calories are super high calorie. I remember growing up with my grandparents, if anything had fruit in it, they're just like, it's healthy. Right. And so
Right,
then
exactly.
and then it's like, well, no, Nana, like this muffin, yeah, it may have blueberries, but it's also like 500 calories. So that's a great starting point. Is there a specific app that you used to help you with that?
I use my Fitness Pal. I've used Lose It in the past,
Mhm.
but back then I didn't really stick with it. They're both great. I just happen to use my Fitness Pal, but there's nothing about it that I think really sets it apart.
Yeah, they're all very similar. I think the practice of doing it in general is the most important thing. So
Absolutely.
after you start tracking, then what's step number 2 for people? Once they realize how many calories they're consuming, what's next?
So what I recommend is first figuring out like your baseline calories. I think it's called TDEE, like the amount of calories you burn in a day.
Mhm.
That'll be based off your age, your height, your weight, your gender, your there's a lot of basic facts about you, your activity level. And just getting a baseline of like this is the number of calories approximately that if I eat this every day I'll stay the same weight. And then, you know, calculating 250 to 500 calories below that, and then that's your new goal.
Got it. Yeah, and it can be that simple. I think when people they come to learn this, like that's all I have to do. It's like, yes, it's simple. It's not easy, right? The hard part is
Exactly.
actually sticking to that. What did you do to help stick within maintaining a caloric deficit? Are there food swaps that you made? Are there different times in which you ate differently? How did you approach making that easier for you?
So the biggest thing for me is prioritizing protein because that helps keep me full for
Hmm.
more of the day. So finding ways to either incorporate more protein into my meals or swapping things out, like, having adding Greek yogurt to things or cottage cheese, which I actually had never really had until my weight loss journey. It always kind of seemed weird to me, but I actually kind of like it. But just really prioritizing the protein, for me, is the second most important thing, right below calories.
I agree with that so much. I always find it so much easier to maintain a caloric deficit if like the first meal of my day is like packed full of protein. It always just makes it so much easier. I don't really think about food as much, and you typically feel better too. What what high protein foods, in addition to, you said Greek yogurt and cottage cheese? I love cottage cheese, so I'm glad that you're part of that team now. But what else do you eat to get that protein number up? Because it's hard for a lot of people.
So I do have a lot of protein shakes. I'll probably have at least one a day. And then my two main protein sources are lean ground beef and chicken breast. And just cooking those in different ways. The air fryer has become my best friend.
Love air fryer. Yeah, I
Uh,
love me an air fryer.
so, but yeah, just I mean, I try to have as much, or I try to get as much protein as possible from real foods as opposed to the protein shakes. But I aim for 200 grams of protein a day, so sometimes it's hard to hit that mark without a little help.
What's going on? It's Ben from StepPals here on my daily walk. If you want to walk more, download StepPals. You can try it for free. It's a walking accountability game that works a lot like Tamagotchi. You adopt a virtual pet, you set a daily step goal, and you can only keep your StepPal alive by hitting your daily steps and taking care of them. And you can try it out for free right now. It's linked down below. Let's get back into the episode. Totally. Yeah, no, when you do the numbers, you're like, okay, especially as a guy like myself and you, like, you're like, oh, I need this much protein. It does become pretty intimidating to get that much in. So I think protein shakes can be a great way to help with that, because that knocks out usually like at least 30 grams right there, which is super helpful. But yeah, it can be hard for a lot of people. So you want to get creative and see what things have more protein, and tracking your food is a great way to actually see what is higher protein, because sometimes people think things are really high protein and they're not that high protein. Like I know like nuts is sometimes people think is super high protein. And it's not. There's some protein there, but it's not a ton. So you also mentioned before that you've tried weight loss before and then weren't successful with it or didn't stick with it. What's different about this time?
The biggest thing for me is, in the past, I always relied on motivation, and I would get super motivated in the moment. Like, you know what, this is the time I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to stick with it. I'll do everything I need to do. And then the next day I wouldn't really feel like it and I wouldn't be motivated, and I'd kind of let it slide. And that would happen again and again. And I got to the point where I realized that if I continue to just rely on being motivated in the moment, it's never going to happen. But discipline is what allowed me, or what helped me do it when I didn't feel like doing it, which was the key to sticking with it and
Yeah,
continuing.
it's the key to everything. And how did you establish that discipline?
For me, it was accountability. I've been working with a weight loss coach since the beginning of my journey, and then actually posting on social media as well helps hold me accountable, knowing that there are people who gain motivation from watching my videos and are also waiting for that next video. So if I don't post, I feel like I'm, maybe letting some people down. And that's what really helped get me started. I mean, now it's just becoming part of my routine and just something that I do, which is really, it's been awesome because it's kind of like second nature now. So it's not, at the beginning it felt like I was kind of fighting tooth and nail, like every day,
Mhm.
like, all right, here's another day. Like I got to do everything right. Um, but yeah, I mean, so it's really just getting the ball rolling.
It's a lot at first for sure, because there's so many new things that you're adding or changing, which is pretty intimidating. So I think what you said is so powerful. We're creating that sense of accountability. Whatever makes sense for you, whatever you can afford, having some sort of sense of accountability there, just to get you to the point where it is a habit, right? Because much like you said, like I watch your videos now and it just seems like you're living life, right? Like it doesn't seem like you're having to really like stress super hard about everything you're doing. You're just doing the stuff you know you're supposed to, and then you get the results from it. But getting to that point is the hardest part. So that's great advice there. And I think that you gave some solid examples for how you can build accountability. You could also be doing it with a friend. You could use apps. Like there's so many ways that you can get creative to try to create that sense of accountability. And then a month later, you'll look up and you're like Josh, you're just following the pattern that you've built and you're getting the results from it. What role has the gym or exercise played in the whole weight loss journey of yours?
For me, the gym it's twofold. One, it's nice feeling stronger and feeling healthier,
Totally.
getting the blood pumping, the endorphins from working out. And then the added confidence that has given me, it's just additional motivation on top of it.
Totally.
And it's helped me really notice the difference in how I feel. But when I eat healthier versus when if I do ever stray and eat kind of similar to how I used to, I feel it in my workouts.
That's such a good point.
And so that motivates me, to continue to eat healthier so that my workouts feel better. So I feel more confident. And then, it's a positive feedback loop from there.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it. It is a feedback loop where if you don't do the right things, then you pay for it later. And then that also creates some resistance for the next time you're going to go do it because you picture yourself at the workout being like, oh, this sucks. I feel like crap. And it makes you less likely to do that. So that's great advice. Have you always been someone that went to the gym or was this recent with weight loss?
It's recent with the weight loss. Growing up,
Okay.
I used to play sports and such, but I never really like went to the gym or lifted weights. Um, After high school, because I grew growing up, I was a little overweight.
Hmm.
And right after high school, for about a year or two after that, I started going to the gym, eating healthy, lost about 60 pounds back then,
Wow.
and, really stuck with it. Um, but then, I kind of fell off, and then I wasn't going to the gym for a while until this most recent weight loss journey.
Makes sense. Can you attribute anything specific to what made you fall off and start putting on more weight in the first place?
I think the first time that I tried to lose weight and go to the gym, I went overboard and it wasn't sustainable. I was going to the gym like twice a day, every
Wow.
day. I was like super duper strict on what I ate, and I just kind of burnt myself out, and I wasn't enjoying it, and it wasn't sustainable. Um, and then it kind of fell off, and then it snowballed from there. And not feeling good, didn't want to work out, then eating for comfort, and just didn't get back to it until recently.
So you think the biggest shift was just the fact that you made it a lot more manageable and sustainable?
Absolutely, I truly don't feel like I'm doing anything crazy right now.
Mhm.
I feel like I really feel like what I'm doing now I could do forever.
That's amazing to hear. So when you're eating in a caloric deficit, I know a lot of people who struggle with their weight, they just literally think they can't. Like, I'm going to be hungry all day. What do you say to those people?
I think that they're probably not getting enough protein. I do think that like on days where I don't reach my protein goals, I feel it.
Mhm.
And if carbs or fat are a larger portion of my diet that day, I do tend to feel hungry, especially late in the day. So I would give it a shot and try to have more protein. I know a lot of people don't eat nearly as much protein as I do, and especially if that's not something you focus on, it's easy to not
Miss
get a
it.
ton of protein in your diet. But I think it's just a matter of moving the macros around.
That's a great point. Yeah, play around because it's not a one size fits all. Even though calories may dictate what weight you lose, how you combine or structure those calories between fat, protein, and carbs is really very independent. Some people do really well on a high carb diet. Some people do horribly on a high carb diet. So it really makes sense to play around, like Josh is saying, to figure out what makes me feel good, right? Because at the end of the day, if you find what works for you, it can become pretty simple and straightforward, which is ultimately what you're trying to get to. But you got to experiment to get there in the first place. So I think that's really really good advice, and I think the protein thing is especially. I can only speak as a guy, but I found that that's like very important for me. If I don't hit that, I've noticed that it becomes a lot harder to lose weight. So fantastic advice. What as you've lost all this weight, you said you're approaching 90 pounds of weight loss or whatever, maybe even more. What are the biggest changes in your life that you've seen from that weight loss?
Aside from the confidence that I've gained, which is a huge factor, honestly, just being able to do more in life, like, getting out of chairs easier, being able to
Hmm.
walk for longer without feeling gassed. I just feel like I'm able to experience more life and not feel as inconvenienced by my weight as I did before.
It's amazing.
And it got to the point where I really didn't even realize just how bad it was. Um, you know, Getting in and out of the car was tough at times. Walking up a flight of stairs, I'd be winded. Things like that that just felt natural because it had been like that for so long that um, just changes like that have been just quality of life, I would say.
That's the most important stuff too, because that's really what it's all about. And it's great point that you made there was that human beings we're infinitely adaptable. So whatever your normal becomes, it'll become normal for you, even if it's not healthy, right? And then you don't really see the changes that are made until you make the sacrifices or the plan to change it. And I'm so glad that you're experiencing that, and I'm sure there'll be more and more, and it'll just make it a lot more rewarding and more fun to do it all, anyways. How has your like family and friends been with you through all of this? Has that been a great support system, or how have they been? What's going on? It's Ben here from StepPals. I just want to thank you for watching the How I Lost the Weight podcast. Every episode, we bring on people who lost the weight to share their tactics, their stories, and their mindsets to help you achieve the very same thing. So if you're looking to hear from people like you who achieve what you're looking to achieve to reach your weight loss goals, make sure to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss a future episode. Super happy to have you. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, they've all been super supportive. It's actually funny, when I first started posting on social media, I didn't tell any friends or family, and it
Okay.
must have been connected to my phone number or something,
They
because
found
a
you?
lot have found me. And at first I was kind of I was a little horrified, because I was like, I didn't think anybody I knew was going to see
Yeah,
this.
of course.
But everybody that has said anything has been overwhelmingly supportive. And in
Amazing.
hindsight, I'm really glad that they found out, because it's just even more support. And it's been, yeah, it's an additional, just level of motivation and accountability.
Totally. And how has it been posting on social media? Has that been a generally positive experience overall?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten tons of positive comments and messages across social media. It's been, yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive. It's fun. I mean, I like figuring out what to post that day, even if it's just a 10-second video saying like,
Totally.
"Hey, I'm going to the gym today. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Something
what
to
I'm
do.
doing." Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just
100%.
kind of fun. And just last week I was scrolling through my Instagram page, just like looking at all the thumbnails, and because I've never really posted on social media before this, it was cool.
Mhm.
It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, I've posted well over 100 videos, and like this is my face in all of them. Like, just looking at my phone, it was a little surreal.
It is trippy, yeah, especially when you see that that many strangers have seen your face or heard your voice. It's definitely a little weird, but, it's also pretty amazing, and you can connect with some really cool people, and obviously you use it as a tool for accountability too, which is I think is really, really, really powerful because if you may not have maybe your friends and family aren't super supportive, but you can go find people that are supportive through creating content and creating that sense of accountability, and I'm glad to hear that that's been overwhelmingly positive. So for your weight loss, what is your ultimate goal?
So the goal I've set for now is a 200-pound weight loss, to go from 396 to 196.
Amazing.
From there, I'll see how I feel. When I was in the best shape of my life, shortly after high school, I was about 170.
Okay.
But I'm also, over a decade older. I'm 31 now. I was
Yep.
19 at the time, so I don't know, just changes in my body, and hopefully
Totally.
maybe having more muscle now, whatever it may be. I don't know how I'm going to feel at 196, but
Mhm.
that's the first goal.
That's the first goal. Amazing. So that's a big one, man, and I'm excited to see you get there, but that's also a great point that you made that it's you can't make super specific goals because your body has changed so much over time, right? And much like you said, you may have way more muscle now, and so if your goal was to get to a certain weight that you were in high school, that may almost be impossible for you, right? Unless you
Right.
sacrificed a ton of muscle. So great point, and I'm excited for you to get to that number. And do you anticipate yourself changing anything that you're currently doing to get there?
Honestly, no. I mean, what I'm doing now,
It's
unless I
working.
change my calorie goals, everything I'm doing now is working. Maybe a little more
Amazing.
cardio as I build up my stamina more, but yeah, I feel like I'm in a really good groove right now, and
Yeah, it seems like it.
yeah.
It's awesome, dude. So for the gym in general, so you said you used to work out, but not like super intensely. How did you get back into the gym? Because a lot of people are very intimidated by the gym.
The gym can be intimidating, and it did
Yeah.
help that I used to go, so that
Mhm.
alleviated some of the anxiety. My apartment building has a gym, so that's where I first started to go. And even then,
Nice.
like, if there was like one other person there, I'd be like, all right, maybe I shouldn't go today. Like,
Yeah.
so, but really, it was just getting started. Even if it was just 5 minutes at a time, 5 or 10 minutes, it was like, I'm just gonna do something, because something's better than nothing.
Totally.
And it just kind of went from there. And as I started to go, more, I was like, all right, maybe I'll stay for 20 minutes, and then maybe I'll stay for 25, and just building up from there, and becoming more confident, until it was like, okay, like, I feel at home here, so like I don't feel as anxious.
Mhm. Yeah, it's rarely as scary as you think it is once you actually get there. It's the starting and going and being there and not knowing where things are and all that stuff. So that's great advice there. For food in general, I know you really mentioned prioritizing protein, but what other kinds of things are you eating to maintain that calorie deficit and lose the weight?
Aside from protein, I like fruits and vegetables, and I try to keep my carbs on the low side when I can. And the carbs that I do get, I try to get from those fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables, potatoes. I do like cheese if I have like more room for fat later in the day. Big cheese fan.
I
Um,
love cheese too. What's your favorite kind of cheese?
ooh, I love a good like Parmigiano Reggiano.
Nice.
Love that, like off the block or shredded.
Mhm.
Trying to think what else I have. Oh, the Yasso, like Greek yogurt ice cream bar, or frozen Greek yogurt bars.
Okay.
That's like my number one dessert right now.
Nice.
Those are
Okay,
awesome.
I've had those before. They're very good.
Yeah, yeah, those are good. I mean, one thing I do is, like, even with my snacks, like, I try to find a snack that, like, is higher in protein, like beef
Mhm.
jerky, or like,
I love beef jerky.
love beef jerky. I got these protein pretzels that have like 19 grams of protein per serving, because a lot of things
Nice.
that say protein on the label, really don't have a lot of protein. Like
Yes,
it'll
you
say
gotta
like
look at the back for
exactly,
sure.
you got to look at the back, you got to look at the nutrition facts. And that's a big thing too. Is that I've started really paying attention to the nutrition facts when I'm buying things,
Mhm,
and I try to think like, okay, how can I fit this into like a normal day? Like, is this something that I could incorporate?
totally. Yeah, because it's some of the labels can be deceptive on the front where you're like, "Oh, this must be high protein," and you look in the back and it's like, I guess they consider it relatively high protein to what that kind of food is, but you look at the back and there's, like, nothing there, so that's a great call. For eating out and, like and that how do you handle eating out when you're trying to lose weight?
Eating out is difficult because a lot of places are gonna be particularly high in carbs and fat.
Mhm,
I do my best to prioritize protein there where I can. Like if I'll go for, something that may seem a bit leaner, or, I won't get a pasta dish. I'll try to get like, chicken with a side or something like that. Sides are also a big game changer because, there's a huge difference macro wise between getting a serving of mashed potatoes. It's going to have butter and it's going to have other things in it versus, a side of steamed vegetables if you can
mhm,
get it. One
totally,
thing
yeah,
that I like to try to do is if, like, say there's a place where you can get like more than one side, like one side, sure, go for the mashed potatoes, go for the rice, go whatever. And then for the other side, go as healthy as you can, like, steamed broccoli, things like that.
totally, yeah, it's always a good call, making healthy swaps where you can, but still enjoying the stuff that you want, and it's always the move, and, yeah, a lot of places where you go, they do give you 2 sides, and so I think it's a good balancing act. One vegetable and then one something you like and do it like that, but that's awesome, man. What are your favorite restaurants to go and eat?
Hmm. So I'm a huge wings fan.
I love wings too.
Love wings anywhere I can get some good wings. Nowadays I don't eat out a whole lot. That was a big thing when I was gaining weight and at my highest weight is I would DoorDash a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I would
that's
DoorDash
it's
like
so easy
multiple
to
times a
do.
day, like
Yeah,
pretty much every day. And looking back on it, like it's really hard to lose weight and eat out that much because of, restaurants don't care about macros, restaurants don't care
no,
about
they do
calories.
not.
They want it to taste as good as possible, and
Yes.
that means like fat, salt, all of that.
Everything. Yes,
Exactly.
it's way too much sauce, way too much salt, way too much butter, like, they just pile that stuff on there, so, yeah, it's very easy to do. The unfortunate reality is, though, that with how expensive groceries have become, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's almost the same price now, I may as well just Uber Eats or DoorDash," right? So,
Right.
what kind of food are you making for yourself on a weekly basis?
So I'd like to buy a lot like prepackaged like chicken breast or lean ground beef, things like
Okay,
that. And it can add up, but as expensive as it is, it's still less expensive than door dashing
definitely.
frequently.
Yes.
So even though like I look at the grocery bill and I'm like, oh my gosh, um, I
It's
still like
less bad,
it's less bad. And frankly, even if it was just as bad, it's still so much better for me that I
substantially.
so I'm like, it's gonna the cost is there, but it's worth it.
Totally. Yeah,
Um,
I completely agree. Making food, although it's sometimes not super fun, I think it makes a lot of sense and you'll definitely feel way better from it. You'll typically save a bit of money as well. Are you a meal prepping guy or do you make it by the day?
So I I wish I was a meal prepping guy. One thing I'll try to do though is like at dinner, I'll make enough to take for lunch to work the next day.
Got it.
But past that, I'm not good at sticking with meal prepping.
Yeah, I always intend to meal prep and I never meal prep. So I feel you there, Josh. I'm not good at it, but the protein having protein on hand is what I've found is like the most important thing for me. So I typically do try to make a lot of protein at one time, like you said, and having it for lunch or even breakfast sometimes the next morning is a big, big key. So that's awesome, man. What would you say if you could speak to someone who wants to lose weight, what would be your biggest point of advice?
My biggest point of advice would be that the number one thing to keep in mind, especially when you don't want to do it, especially when you're lacking the motivation, is to try to do a future for your or do it. I'm sorry, do a favor for your future self, and try to. I mean, and I know it's hard in the moment, especially when you don't want to. But if you look back in a day, in a week, in a month from now, are you going to be glad that you let yourself off the hook and didn't go to the gym, or door dashed a pizza instead of making something at home? Or are you going to be proud that you've stuck with it and you're feeling better and you're, prioritizing your health?
It's amazing, man. Yeah, I can't remember exactly who said it, but there was this famous psychologist or motivational speaker, whatever it was, but they basically said that everybody who has a good life, they prioritize themselves tomorrow more than they do today.
Right.
And that's phenomenal advice, Josh. I definitely I think that's great. If you're listening to this, definitely try to incorporate that into your life. Think about you tomorrow, and then your life just gets better when you do that all the time. So, really good advice there. And so, if you guys are watching this and you want some more of Josh in your life, definitely go show him some love over on Instagram and TikTok. And you're on YouTube too, right?
I am, yeah.
Cool. So all of those will be linked down below. What is your handle?
Just Josh's journey on everything.
Got it. Cool. So that'll be linked down below. Go follow Josh. Show him some love. Let him know that you found him through this podcast. And Josh, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for having the courage to share your journey, help other people, and just be positive every day. I always am appreciative when you come across my timeline. So I'm sure there's hundreds of others who agree with that as well. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I really appreciate it.
Of course, man. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon.